Welcome. I am Dr. Jessica Bueller, and we're having you here to actually give a testimony. And now, testimonies are not something that is going to be the same thing for every single person. And really, what we're talking about is using nutrition to affect our gene expression or nutrigenomics. And so, instead of having our bodies be hijacked by different things that may have gone wrong in our life, physical things, chemical things, emotional things, things from our past, things from even in utero that are still with us now. We want to, instead of having that hijacked process, we want to biohack our bodies. We want to affect our gene expression in a positive way to get a different outcome. Now we're with a health and wellness company. So our goal is obviously to establish health and wellness. We don't claim to treat, cure, diagnose, or prevent any symptom, condition, or disease. And so I have a mom here tonight that is going to give us her daughter's story. So if you could all just pay attention, and I'm going to turn this over to Miss Joy.
Hi everyone. My name is Joy Huss. I am a mom of 6 children with ages of 19 to 3.5. I am married to my lovely wife, Kelsey, of 8 years, and we have a great family. What I really want to share with you tonight is something very something that's very dear to me and has really made a big impact on our family. I'll tell you a little bit about myself first. I'm a nurse of 29 years. I'm an LPN. Currently, I work for an electronic medical record company as a clinical product manager. So my responsibility as a clinical product manager is to ensure that what we're developing is safe and effective for patients. But more than that, you know, my passion in life is for all of us to be healthy and all of us to be well and all of us to be happy. So I kind of want to share a story about my daughter, Brentley. But before I do that, I want to show a picture of my lovely family. So you can see here, hopefully you guys can see that all. This is a picture of Kelsey's sister's wedding a couple years ago. And you can see me, I'm right here, right there. And this is my wife, Kelsey, right here. This is my oldest, Abby. And then I have Erica, or our oldest, Abby, who is 19. We have Erica, who's 17. We have Emily, who's 15, Max, who's 13. Brentley, who's 4, and Franklin, who is 3.5. And what I really want you to zone in on is I want you to look at the face of Brentley in this picture. So this is 2 years ago. Do you see her face? She looks very unhappy. Every picture up until probably 3 months ago that we took of her looked like that. Kelsey and I were married 8 years ago, and we reached out to an adoption agency to adopt a baby together as a married couple. And we matched to a young lady who had some genetic history of bipolar disorder and schizophrenia, which didn't really bother us at all because we knew that we could love this child. During that time, we met our birth mom, and we had a great experience, but then, you know, she at that time had chosen to go ahead and keep her. So we ended up, our adoption failed a couple different times. So, but then after, when we were in the hospital with our son Franklin, who was a newborn, we got a call from this birth mother who we had actually really kind of almost bonded with her to say that, you know, I know that this has been a hard time, and she apologized, you know, I'm so sorry that this has been such a struggle for me, but, you know, now I do want you to have Brentley. And at this point, she was 5 months old. So within a month of getting Franklin at birth, we got Brentley. As we got Brentley, the very first night, you know, Brentley was very hard to console. She did not want to be rocked. The only thing that would console her would be to be fed and to sleep. So she was very difficult to console, very, very unhappy baby. Yeah, again, the history, her birth history was that there was some schizophrenia, some bipolar disorder, and the birth the birth mother was very, very honest that she had a hard time attaching or developing and bonding during utero, which is a reason, you know, and she had some difficult situations, which I commend her for what she did. I mean, that's hard to be a birth parent, and I will tell you that we are so forever grateful and love her as Brentley's birth mother. But getting Brentley was challenging. We struggled because we were trying to bond with an infant just being born, and then with her, which is a 5-month-old who would cry inconsolably, who did not want to be held, who did not want to be coddled or anything, and that continued on. And with working with our adoption agency, we learned, and then later as we did some research, we feared she had some sort of what was called reactive attachment disorder. So, you know, during the time that she was in foster care for 5 months, and, you know, in utero, she did not bond, and so there were some struggles there, on top of, you know, her very irritability and just not wanting to be hugged or held. And so it was even hard for us to bond. And so we had quite a struggle, and we were hoping with time that would get better. More towards about, I want to say 18 to 24 months, we started having some reports at daycare and at home. She would throw these horrendous fits that could not be redirected. And all of you who have toddlers know that, you know, for the most part, you know, every toddler and every child, they throw fits, but they can be redirected. But Brentley just never seemed happy. It didn't matter what you did. The only thing that was happy for her was to feed her and to let her sleep. Her safe place was her bed. It wasn't to be held. It wasn't to whatever. It was to be fed and go to sleep. And it was getting really bad at daycare. She would bang her head against doors and walls, and she would throw her body around and just be this very, very unhappy, which was hard for us because it was then hard for us to bond with her. Of course, we bonded with Franklin right away as an infant, and we tried some of the same techniques that we learned through our adoption agency with touch and different things, but she just wasn't having it. And she was better off just to be, you know, not, you know, coddled or whatever, and just and so it was very difficult to console. And so that was very hard on us, you know, as adoptive parents to not be able to bond with your child. And that continued to get worse and worse and worse. And then we ended up having to switch daycare providers just because of her outbursts and her irritability and her anger and her self-destructive behaviors of pulling hair and pulling her own hair and scratching her skin and just different things. And she was just angry, and it was horrible because we felt awful. And even today, we're continuing to bond with her, but much better, but it was just not good. So probably around the age of 3, which would have been about a year ago, it was so bad that we reached out to our adoption agency social worker, and she said, you know, Joy, maybe it's, you know, because of her birth history, you know, we said, well, what are all of her symptoms? And they were all pointing towards what's called well, it's not reactive attachment disorder, that along with bipolar disorder, but for little kids, they call it dysfunctional mood dysregulation. So they've kind of given it a different name. And so we thought, okay, you know, we know that there's a history there, so let's do what we can do to help her, and let's see if we can reach out to a therapist or a counselor or a child psychiatrist. And we just had a horrible time. We reached out to several psychiatry clinics for pediatric psychiatrists, and no one would see her because she wasn't the age of 5. So here we are with a 3-year-old who, it was almost to the point of we just didn't know what to do. So we finally found a therapist that said, okay, Joy, you know, we'll see her at age 5, but then before we'll do that, if you can have her be seen by your therapist, like a family therapist, for a year ahead of time, well, then we'll see her. So we have a family therapist that we see, because we also have a son who has a 13-year-old who has ADHD. And we took her there, and she diagnosed her with reactive attachment disorder, which we kind of assumed. But then again, she was also concerned that she was developing these signs of this dysfunctional mood dysregulation, which is just like it's like a childhood form of bipolar disorder. Currently would have these large mood swings of, for 3 or 4 days, she is happy but not really happy. She was angry, but yet she would laugh at the weirdest things. And, you know, she had a hard time imagining and doing imaginative play. So she would mock Franklin. That was the only way that she could do imaginative play. But then on her down days, she would actually voice that she was unhappy and say, Mom, I'm not happy. I'm angry. And she would say that, I don't like you anymore. You're not my best friend, and would just be angry. And like I showed you in this picture here, that's what her face looked like. Just this grumpy, like this somber face all the time. And it was hard because, you know, we wanted to bond with our child. And so, you know, we were continuing to see our family therapist, but struggling with decisions like, should we place her? What should we do? It was getting bad at home. You know, it was causing problems with Franklin, our 3.5-year-old. What do we do? And at that point, Kelsey's sister, Amanda Hoyer, told me about a product that was a nutritional product that she learned about, that she started taking, that she thought might help. But she wanted me to talk to Dr. Jess and say, look, you know, I don't know if this would help, but maybe you should just at least talk to her and get her opinion or see what she thinks. And Darcy Martin-Moss did the same thing. She said, you know, you really need to talk to Dr. Jess. Maybe this could help. You know, at this point, I wasn't going to get help from anybody professional. No one, and I'm not kidding you, no one would see her. So other than our family therapist, thank goodness that we were blessed to have. So I called Dr. Jess and I explained the scenario, and she said, you know, Joy, at this point, you know, I think we should try Protandim, and I think that we should give her the best shot at this and, you know, try it. I mean, what's it going to hurt at this point? You know, we were ready to medicate her with, you know, medications that were used for, you know, mood swings or anything to help calm her down or to help keep her stable, because I could show you videos where 45 minutes her eyes would get glassed over and she would scream and yell uncontrollably, and it was almost like she was possessed. And I'm not lying when I say that. I mean, being a nurse, I mean, it was almost embarrassing and disheartening for me that, you know, a nurse and my wife who wants to bond with this girl it's not happening. And then to have it's almost like she had this horrible thing going on. So I said, okay, Jess, what do we do? And she said, Joy, we need to give her the best chance, you know, at maybe helping change her genetic makeup, and maybe this product could help her. But at this point, what's it going to hurt? So then I was introduced to this right here, the Vitality Stack, which is probably showing backwards, but has changed our life, totally changed our life. In this Vitality Stack, you know, we heard about Protandim, and we said, well, Jess, should we just do the Protandim, the Nerf tube, the NRF2? And she says, no, Joy, I think you need to do the entire Vitality Stack, because each one of the products will help her chemical makeup in her brain and can maybe change her genetic makeup, and maybe we can reverse some of that, or at least help control some of the symptoms. And I said, you know, Jess, this was tough for me. You know, I'm a nurse, 29 years, and, you know, it's hard for me to get behind everything that isn't any science. And so, lo and behold, I got flooded with scientific evidence from Jess, from PubMed, all of these studies that done, these universities, Mayo Clinic, University of Pennsylvania, University of Michigan. And so if they're wanting to study this product, you know, what's it going to hurt? It's all natural, right? All of us, you know, in this day and age, we're all about, let's do what we can naturally, you know, natural substances to help our children. So we started with this, and the Vitality Stack, it includes, and Jeff will talk about this, but it includes the NRF2 and the NRF1 Protandim. You flip it over, you'll see it's the yellow pill and the 2 capsules. And then there's the Physique ProBio, which is the probiotic. And then, of course, the Omega Plus. And we talked about what would be the best dosage for her. So we decided we're just going to do like half of an adult dose. And so, of course, my first concern is, oh my gosh, is she going to take it? You know, she's a kid. She's a 3-year-old. She likes to eat. You know, that's her safe haven. But is she going to take it? And So we talked to some other moms who had their children on Protandim, and they would crush it in various ways. So Brittany's favorite way to take it was we tried it with just a little bit of peanut butter and some chocolate syrup, because she loves Reese's peanut butter cups and she loves chocolate. And so what we would do is we would give her half of the Nerf 1 or the Nerf 2, which is the yellow pill, 1 capsule of the NRF 1, the Nerf 1, the Protandim. We would give her either 1 or 2 of the ProBio, which is the probiotic, and we would open up one of the capsules, the omega capsules, and then squirt it in. We mix it all up, and just enough to get 1 spoonful. I was shocked that she took it. And I was like, okay, who in your life who's taken fish oil, right? Okay, guys, I can't hardly take any kind of a fish oil supplement, although we know we're supposed to use some omega because what, you burp fish, right? And I smelled it, I'm like, lemon. So I texted Jess, I'm like, Jess, why do you smell like lemon? She says, Joy, we use essential oil, lemon oil, along with that for a lot of different medicinal type purposes. But not only that, it helps it. And so basically the lemon was masking the other flavors along with the chocolate and with the peanut butter. I kid you not, within 1 week, we no longer were having the 45-minute meltdowns that we were having like on a 3 and 4 times a day basis. Probably within 2 weeks, she started calming down. Our daycare provider couldn't, believe the change in her. And it's been 4 months, Jeff, 4 months now, and she's actually now telling us that she loves us. She actually, once in a great while, I've actually texted some of these and posted some of these out on the Life Connections page where, she'll come into bed with us, and, before, like, she'll follow Franklin, and if he gets up in the middle of the night and he wants to get in and cuddle, but she'll want to lay in bed, but she wants nothing to do with you reaching out and snuggling her. Well, she'll actually want to snuggle, and randomly she'll tell us she loves us, and she's actually starting to show us physical affection, which is really huge for us. We have a long way to go with bonding. It's been a really, really long struggle, but if it weren't for this, I don't know what we would have done. And all I know is that this has helped control the symptoms of what she's struggling with. Now, do we have bad days once in a while? Sure, but it's never to the extent that Brentley can't be at some point redirected. She's still a toddler, right? She still has fits. She still has issues. She's this strong, independent, I want to do what I want to do, very mouthy, whatever, but she's a whole different kid. And guys, I'm not kidding you. She smiles now. She's happier. She's, engaging in imaginative play where she wasn't before. And like I said, we have a long way to go with bonding, but at least it gives us hope. Now, down the road, will we have to do something if down the road some of this may affect her as she ages? Maybe. But for now, this is what has helped us. And so I just wanted to share with you as a mom and as a nurse that, are we trying to, what gets me in this world is that people just want a quick fix, guys. Is this a quick fix? In some cases, it makes a change very quickly. In other cases, it takes people a while. But why wouldn't you at the genetic level and at the cellular level want to do whatever you can in your body to help do that? You have the Protandim, the NRF2, which is, reduces oxidative stress. Well, think of it that it's basically helping your own body be an antioxidant. You have the Nerf 1, which is your mitochondria, your powerhouse. So it gives her the energy. It gives her the body the strength it needs, and her brain the strength it needs to do what it needs to do. And then, you ask, well, Joy, then why the ProBio? Well, we all know that you get a good probiotic, she's going to absorb this a lot better, plus all the other benefits of having a probiotic. Well, really, Joy, she's 3 years old. Why does she need an omega plus? Well, we all know that the omegas help our brain function, and we know that a lot of things, having to do with, memories and trauma and mental disorders, where does that start at? It starts in the brain. And so, we wanted to try to give her the best shot, and we are so, so thankful, Dr. Jess, to you. And I myself take the Vitality Stack every day. Currently takes the Vitality Stack every day. Kelsey takes the Vitality Stack every day. We also have her taking Axio once in a while. We did it during our camping week. This was last week. Both of the kids, because they were so active and, you know, giving them that little energy, and they went strong all day long. And but you know, I guess I just need people to hear my story, and I just want to help someone. And if this testimony helps them, I guess my thought would be, why not? Why not try it? And you know, I think also what gets me is people think, you know, Joy, I can't feel any difference, whatever. I've done the science. So whether I feel something or not, to me, doesn't matter, because there's science that it works at my cellular level. I want to be as young as I can on the inside and help my body to be healthy. So just that's it, pretty much in a nutshell. So I just thank you for the opportunity to share this with people, because it's changed our life. It really has. And now we have a thriving 4-year-old and a wonderful family. So
that was perfect. Joy already explained all the mechanisms of the products too, which is beautiful. And it helps when you've read the research, when you understand what it's doing on that cellular level. It's different. It isn't a quick fix. It's not a treatment or a cure for a disease or a symptom.
correct.
It's not that. It's helping our bodies to function the way that they were designed. And so we really do get that opportunity to biohack our genetic code, to choose to express our genes just a little bit differently. And so if anybody needs any more information from Joy or from me, reach out to us. We're happy to share more. But thank you, Joy, for sharing your testimony. It's testimonies like these that bring tears to my eyes and also remind us of that obligation to share information that could possibly help someone else in a similar situation.
Well, it's my pleasure, Jess. I appreciate it. I do have to share one more thing, that I got one of these lovely free the anti-aging cream. And I'll tell you what, see how I squint my eye? See, I do that all the time. See how I do that where I have these lines right here? I will tell you that this has been an excellent product. You can't see it hardly, but I used to have this horrid line right here, because this is my favorite thing when I look at my toes. See how it does that? And so I had these constant lines, and this has been the most amazing thing to help my lines. I'm 48 years old, gonna be 49. I'm telling you, I'm going to do anything to make my skin healthy, to feel younger, and I'm absolutely in love with the anti-aging cream. So I had to throw that out there too.
All right. Have a good night.